Hello and welcome to ELCAT News for January 18th. I'm Jen Carlos. After 3 weeks of growing frustration over the accumulating trash on town roadsides, residents should finally be rid of the barrels and bags of trash and recycling that haven't been picked up since the holidays. Town Manager Denise Menard says the backlog in service from waste hauler Republic Services continued to get worse even as complaints from residents began to pile up, and despite assurances from Republic that they would be back on schedule soon.
It really started at the holidays. When it started getting colder, the really cold weather, the trash company said that they couldn't pick up everything because it was frozen and they couldn't compact it as well. And you try to be a little understanding, but it was the holidays, and we did tell them, in fact, at the holidays, they would take additional trash. So we expected that. They assured us that they were going to be doing that, that they just had a little glitch. It went downhill from there and became such deplorable service that we were constantly on the phone with them, trying to find out what streets hadn't been done, what they were going to do to get those streets done. It got to the point where they were so behind that Thursday and Friday residents that had trash pickup on Thursday and Friday had gone 2 weeks without their trash being done.
Menard says office staff handling the volume of calls from residents were sympathetic with people's frustration.
The number of calls that we got from residents took all three of the administrative assistants, the health department, the HR, and my assistant all day, every day, to just try to find out what the issues were. We feel their frustration. We so sympathized with them. We understood the comments that they made to us on the phone, whether out of frustration or out of understanding. We really understood where they were coming from, and I think, hopefully, the trash company understands that that can't continue.
This week seemed to be the turning point. After efforts last week to publicize the catch-up plan produced results over the weekend Menard characterized as deplorable, and media reports this week that drew attention to the issue, Republic tried another solution. We
had this domino effect going on of, they didn't finish Monday's trash because there was so much of it left over, so now Tuesday they're doing Monday's trash, and we're doing another week of that, and we said it just can't continue. And then with the storm, I wanted assurances that they weren't going to shut down service. I had talked to our public works superintendent, and he said having the trash trucks on the road is absolutely not an issue. So I wanted to assure them that they could be on the roads at the same time as the plows, so that there wasn't that issue, and what was their plan to get us caught up this week. It took them about a half a day to get back to us, and once they did, they had a plan. Their plan was that we usually have 2 trash trucks on at a time per day. They were going to put 6 trucks out. So yesterday, the storm day, they had 6 trucks out that picked up the rest of Monday and Tuesday's trash and finished Wednesday on Wednesday, and we were so relieved that maybe this is going to do it. It's clear weather today. If they have 10 bags of trash and it's not all in green bags for this week, while we're doing this backlog, they will take it all. Recycling, rather than 1 week is cans, 1 week is paper, they're going to take cans and paper this week just to get everybody caught up. So they have assured us that they are taking everything, and we have some people that are going out and checking, driving around behind them. So we know if they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So I think we have aggressively tackled it, but it's very difficult. We don't have an alternative to another trash hauler that we can go, because they were all, I understand it's tough weather. It's a tough time of the year. So the other trash haulers had a challenge. They, fortunately for their communities, had figured out how to deal with it. It took a while for Republic to decide what their best route was to get it done.
Menard says the town will consider its legal options under the contract with Republic, which is not due to expire until 2020.
It appears I got their attention the day that I started adding the town attorney to the emails. And then when they were aware that legal might be involved, because truly they were not adhering to their contract, and we are looking at legal remedies for all that happened because it was just beyond unacceptable.
On Tuesday, a public hearing was held under the auspices of the Planning and Community Development Department and the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission to solicit public input relative to a grant application for community development funds. John O'Leary of the PBPC opened the hearing by providing background on the process and indicating the thinking so far about anticipated community projects that would receive funding.
I'm currently working with the town of East Longmeadow to apply for a CDBG grant. The application is due March 2nd, and a part of the process is having a community development strategy. This meeting tonight is to allow the public the opportunity to comment and really provide any input that they feel, given what we've put together so far. And this has been worked on for probably the past 4 or 5 years with the advisory committee, and this is in its current form for this application. So again, this is just an opportunity for the public to comment and provide any input. Part of this year's application, we're looking at 3 to 4 activities. One being a town hall accessibility planning study, housing rehabilitation, about 15 units or so, possible work on a roof replacement project for the housing authority, and a mobile food pantry for the senior center.
The town has filed several times in recent years, but was awarded a grant most recently in FY12 in conjunction with the town of Agawam.
And what type of activities is that?
Housing rehabilitation was one, housing authority work as well, and then Agawam got, I think, a component of housing rehabilitation and some other housing authority work.
Following O'Leary's overview of the grant process, members of the East Longmeadow Recreation Commission were invited to present a proposal developed in coordination with the town's Open Space Committee for renovation and improvements at Heritage Park. Rec Commission Chairman Tom Kay described the initial results of a feasibility study funded 2 years ago through Community Preservation Fund.
We have a plan that was actually funded by CPC back in 2015, a feasibility study for Heritage Park. And it's a multi-level project. And it's a multi-level process also in regards to grants, open space, rec plan, the whole 9 yards. We have the pond restoration, we have improvements to the baseball diamonds, but most importantly, we want global universal recreation for everybody. So in this study, you'll see that there is actually walking trails with exercise stations. You'll notice that there is a pavilion for concerts by the pond. So we were thinking, this would be great for drama club in the summertime, open space recreation. This is what it's all about. You have basketball courts there. We still have the dog park there. And one of the nice things that we were thinking about is, since this is a gateway to our community, also improvement of the pond. So you'll see over there on the left, you'll see improvement of the pond and what the retaining wall around the pond would look like. Additional parking, fields, and it's a very beautiful piece of land that has a nice overlook into East Longmeadow. And we're actually thinking about putting a nice sledding hill for all the children and any crazy adults that want to break some bones.
But just generally speaking, one of the big attractions of this town has been a Heritage Park.
Yep.
And the naturalness, and even though it's a little rough around the edges, the naturalness of it, and it's a wonderful place to bring up a family. And this to me is more like, I don't know, it has the smackings of a theme park thing, and it's a lot different than, it's a huge difference from what we have right now, obviously.
Okay. We want to keep the park aesthetically the way it is for the most part. But we do have, we want activity in the park too, right? And to build a retention pond wall around the pond, maybe, just maybe, we get the JCs to have the fishing derby back with us, all right? Community involvement, but that 3.4 million, it is all encompassing of everything. Like some huge wish list, you put it up on a board and everybody sees it, all right? So it's fully transparent.
Berkshire, the company that did this study for us, has done many park developments through the state of Mass and Connecticut. So when we brought them into the conversation, it was more or less they just went out, took a slice of every park that they've done out there, whether it's the walking trails, the amphitheaters, the water splash parks. It really just put a conceptual thing together for us to actually work on as a group to figure out what we could do. They were just giving us a sample set of what is out there, and they have done and have seen, and it could be an opportunity for us.
Now we check in with the ELPD for some tips on winter safety. ELCAT's Nick Hansman and Anthony Grissetti talked earlier this week to Patrolman Anthony Diani about simple things to do to stay safe when cold weather strikes.
At the East Long Meadow Police Department, Officer Diani helps us prepare for any further winter storms.
I'm Anthony Diani. I'm a patrolman with the East Long Meadow Police Department. I've been an officer for about 9 months, graduated the academy back in May of last year.
Officer Diani goes over some items to have both in your home and car.
So for what I deal with personally, I have a generator. I have the portable chargers, and I always leave them charged just in case, because you might want to charge your cell phone or other things. So I keep the portable chargers good to go. And I have water bottles. I have a lot of those stocked up in my basement, and just unperishable foods, just so you're ready in case the power's out for about a week, 2 weeks, because it's happened to us before, especially up in Massachusetts. So for your car, you definitely want to get the reflective signs, just so people know that you're out there. Maybe your hazards don't work for some odd reason. You want to have your hazards on if it's dark. It's probably good to have some, maybe a trail mix in there, something that might not go bad if you're stuck there overnight. It's always good to have batteries, just things around like that. Blankets, definitely, especially in the cold. We have the winter, so you want to stay warm.
He also offers some driving tips to avoid crashes and information on crimes which appear to be more common during the winter.
Make sure your brakes are good. Make sure you get your service checks. It's just you don't want to be caught off guard in our storms. You want to make sure that you're not following too close to vehicles because you might not have enough time to stop. With the ice and the weather that we've been having, you can slide right into the rear end of another vehicle. Just drive under the speed limit, because the speed limit is for good conditions, not for tough fog conditions, rain, snow, anything around those lines. For the winter, we've seen a lot of shoplifting. I myself have been doing a lot of shoplifting cases. We've had car crashes. We've had, I think it was 2 yesterday. Most of the time, for breaking into a vehicle, it's during the nighttime, maybe 3 or 4 in the morning. Our officers are doing patrols around neighborhoods all the time, but almost every car that got broken into was unlocked. So if you just lock your car, I'm not going to say it'll be untouched, but you have a good chance of not getting it broken into. Also, if you have video recording, I know that's the new big thing, then we can ID the person or get a suspect, and then that helps us find the guy or girl who broke into the vehicle. We have the signs in East Long Meadow. It says stop for pedestrians, so we'll have pedestrians crossing and people just blow by the signs, which is it's a fine. So people have to stop, come to complete stops. It's dangerous, especially in the winter, because you can slide into a pedestrian trying to cross the street because you're not trying to stop in a timely fashion.
On Saturday, January 20th at 1 p.m., there will be a library movie matinee. This event will feature the film The Mountain Between Us, based on the novel by Charles Martin. The Mountain Between Us features 2 strangers stranded after a tragic plane crash, and the pair must forge a connection to survive the extreme elements of a remote snow-covered mountain. When they realize help is not coming, they embark on a perilous journey across the wilderness. This movie is rated PG-13 and registration is not required. On Monday, January 22nd at 4:30 to 5:15 p.m., join Miss Kay in the Grade 1 group Book Buddies for fun book-related activities, craft, and snack. This month, please read Pete the Cat, Snow Days by James Dean. Books are available at the checkout desk. Please register in advance. Also on Monday, January 22nd is Book Busters for grades 5 and up. Enjoy chapter books with mystery, excitement, and more. This month, read in advance When You Reach Me by Rebecca Steed, then come in for fun activities and delicious snacks. Books are available at the checkout desk. Please register in advance. On Tuesday, January 23rd from 4:30 p.m. to 5:15 p.m., the group Bookworms for Children in 2nd grade will meet. Join Miss Kay for fun book-related activities, craft, and snack. This month, please read Aunt and Honeybee, A Pair of Friends in Winter by Megan McDonald. Books are available at the checkout desk, and please register in advance. Also meeting on January 23rd from 4:30 to 5:15 p.m. is the Kindergarten Club. This month, read One Winter's Day by Christina M. Butler. Books are available to borrow from the circulation desk, and please register in advance. And finally, on Wednesday, January 24th at 6:30 p.m., the library is showing an early literacy presentation called Words Matter. Learn about the importance of talking, reading, and singing to babies right from birth. Ellen Restico, Bay Path's early childhood professor, will speak about language in a child's early years as a key to strong communication and reading skills. Also gain ideas for developing literacy routines, including the use of starlings, word counting devices soon available to borrow from the library. This presentation is intended for parents, but children are welcome also. Registration is encouraged.
With your Spartan Sports Update, I'm Anthony Santinello. We'll start with the East Longmeadow wrestling team, who saw action earlier this week against the Granby Rams. Due to a small roster, the Spartans ended up forfeiting a total of 4 matches at the 106, 113, 152, and 285 weight classes. In the matches they did wrestle in, East Longmeadow had one of their better nights of the season. Jacob and Connor McCarthy both picked up wins in their matches, while Austin Seifert also pinned his opponent to earn a victory. In the end, the forfeits caught up with the Spartans as they fell to Granby 42-12. And finally to the hardwood, as the East Longmeadow girls basketball team was in action Thursday night against the Holyoke Purple Knights. The Spartans were able to get out of the gates quickly, opening up a 22-9 lead after the first quarter of play. But the Spartans held the Purple Knights to just 9 second-half points, and East Longmeadow cruised to a 63-28 victory over Holyoke to improve to 6-4 on the season. 4 Spartans ended the night in double figures, as Nicole Coolidge poured in 13 points, Meg Sharon had 11, with Sarah Cafaro and Teresa Kervik both chipping in 10 points. That's it for sports. I'm Anthony Santinello. Back to you, Jen.
That's it for ELCAT this week. Thanks for watching. I'm Jen Carlos. We'll see you next time.